Hey, everybody, this is Dr. J and Professor Spike on a
Hello.
stay on Wall Street. Mixed because it started very, very strong and ended very, very weak. That's why I call it mixed. But I was making X in the morning. I wound up losing half X. So I almost did a complete 180.
It'll be a 180 instead of a 360. Well,
Yeah, almost,
90.
almost,
You did
almost
a
a
complete
complete
90.
180. But
Okay.
I want to talk about some stocks today that I haven't talked about in a while. One of them is a pot stock, CGC, which was the multi-billion-dollar leader in valuation when pot was hot. I don't know if
Hmm.
any still the leader in amongst the big pot plays, but it has about a $1 billion valuation market cap. I think it had 10 billion at one point that I can remember. Uh, so 10 times, I think it's trading at like 2.5 now, so 25. Yeah, I think it was trading in the 30s, I remember, even
Hmm.
higher. Or Tilray was over 100. I think it hit 200.
Yeah, Tilray was up there.
I think it was up to 180 or even 200.
It also had it did a big merger, and it was a real big company.
Yeah, so Tilray and all of the big pot stocks collapsed. And today, CGC decided to reward its loyal shareholders that were in from $40 a share to $2 a share by going up about 20% from 2 to
that
240 or whatever.
was like that. You lose 10%, you gain 10%. You lose 10%, you gain 10%.
Yeah,
10%.
yeah.
Why am I down? Well,
Hey, Jiggly wants to know when I'm headed to Saratoga. I used to go every year. I miss it, but it's too damn hot.
too
It's too
too hot
damn
in
hot. And
Saratoga.
the track itself has no air conditioning to escape in. At least it never used to. Maybe there's one restaurant that's air conditioned.
I haven't been to Saratoga in a very long time.
Muggy, like you wouldn't believe, and hot and humid. It's New York City on steroids in terms of weather. Rough weather.
Uh, Andrew wants to know if you got into Google at all.
I mean,
Alphabet.
it's great. It's a great day at the races or a great weekend, but not for me anymore. So who else is with us?
That's a long ride to go, though.
Andrew's with us. I think Jiggly goes because he's from, Buffalo is not that far. Did I buy any more Google? I did buy a little more Google. Yeah, I did. Uh, I've been on a Google buying spree. Jota is with us today. Good to see you, Jota. All right, so let's get started. I want to talk about CGC. I actually listed the stocks I wanted to talk about.
Did you
CGC,
let me take a look?
Beam
Oh yeah,
for
right. Because last time we were talking, some people were interested in the editing plays, so we might
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Today I arbitrarily picked Beam. Jota
Okay.
wants DMTK. Why not? We'll include it. And I picked Bank of America out from all the financials because I own that one. I guess I own Beam too. And then the
Hmm.
other two I picked, I don't own. One was prta, Prothena, which I used to own. It's a neurodegenerative drugs like Parkinson's, and I think they have an ALS drug in the works. Not sure. I haven't been following the fundamentals lately on that one. I used to own it years ago. I made good money on it, got out of it. Um, what else? Finally, CYTK, another one that I used to own. I ran that one up from 3 to 30. Now, then sold it, and it's been hovering around between 20 and 40, 20 and 50.
Uh-huh.
Um, 3 to 30, believe it or not, didn't take that long. It took maybe a year or two when I owned it back then. Um, In the meanwhile, it's been years that it's in this trading range between the 30, 40, something like that. And they're finally going to bring that drug it's going to they're going to either have a winner or not. That's on their cardiac heart failure drug. That's the biggie. I forget the name of it. Omacarbol something or other. I don't know. OM. I think it's the initial. I'll give you the initials of the
the the malady that it
yeah.
helps.
And then we should look at SPY, of course.
Yeah, we
So
should.
let's
Joe
look.
wants to see Dermatech, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah, Dermatech is always interesting. Joda sold his beam when it hit 60 and a half today. I think you made a good move, Joda. I think one of the brokerages increased their target from 41 to 61 just about the day that it hit 61. So that doesn't show great optimism, right?
No, well, it shows. It's sort of like, oh, I meant to say that.
Yeah. That was, I think, BO. I don't even know who they are.
What's another malady that needs curing?
The averages were all up around 1% or a little less after having been, down 1% or a little less after having started the day up around 1%. So they all reversed. And I think it's largely because of Apple saying they're slowing the pace of their hiring because here it is, stocks tumbled at the close after Apple's warning. U.S. stocks forfeited gains in midday trading following a report that said Apple would slow hiring and growing fears of an economic downturn in the year ahead. Wow, no kidding. Did you know that we're likely to have an economic downturn?
Yeah. Yeah, this idea, this notion of going into a recession, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think, well, actually, let's go back to that other screen for a moment. I think really one of the main reasons we're down today is because crude is 102.21, over 100 again, up 4.62 on the day. That hurts. What
There's something
managed to
psychological.
yeah, and also creeping up is the 10-year to 2.96. We don't like that. So there are a few macro factors that I don't like. Bitcoin continues to move up. That's nice. 21,651. All right, that's good. Let's go back and do SPY. I like to do SPY almost every show. And today is almost an engulfing, bearish engulfing. Some people say it's enough that the bodies engulf, but that's technically not correct. You really need the whole candle to engulf, but it's still a lousy candle. The body of the big red body does engulf yesterday's green body. And yesterday's green body was much smaller, and this was a very big red body. It was a yucky candle, but the good news is, there's some good news about today. Did not make a lower low than yesterday. Yesterday's low was 380.54. Today's low was 380.67. We closed at 382.37. So, it wasn't a good day. I'm not going to argue it was a good day, but it really wasn't a disastrous day. Just relative to the way it started out, it was extremely disappointing. If it started out, without a bang, with a little whimper, and it fell back, it wouldn't be as aggravating. But I was counting my money. I'm saying,
Yeah, no.
Maybe
it was like,
right
is this the beginning of the end of the bull market?
Of the bear market.
The bear market, excuse me.
So at this point, we're still looking okay in terms of the chart. We still have support at yesterday's low, which is a couple of points below where we closed. So we have a little bit of a buffer here. We're pretty much at support. And then there's further support down here at 371. And then finally, 361 would be the retest of the low. So it's certainly possible we're heading in that direction, but I still think we will test the 50 before that. So I think we're in for at least another pop to 390. The 50 is now a little lower to about 392, somewhere around there. Let's see what the 50 is. The 50 is 392, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're due to pop up about 11 more points at least before it takes if indeed it's going to retest that low. I think first we get to at least the 50. A close above the 50, I think we would probably fill the gap all the way up here. No, this gap at between 401 around 401.50. So I'm looking for 392 and then 401.50. I think we run into significant resistance right up around here between these two lines. So there's significant resistance between my 401.50 and Professor Omar's 405, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road there.
Yeah,
That's
but
not going to happen.
I do think there's a good chance we get up there. So I see more choppiness in the market more than I do a direction. I think it's still pretty much directional, without direction. It's directionless at this point. So maybe we get more of this kind of thing. We test the 50, come down and test the lows down here at 371, and then come back up and do it again. We could get weeks of this, at least until the let's say the fall. And the fall, I think, represents the stock market's chance to close the gap from peak to trough. I think maybe it cuts it in half. So instead of a 20% loss on SPY, we get maybe a 10% loss on the year.
From the all-time high, or from the year?
Yeah, on the year. So that would be really pretty good because 10% off of 480 is what? About 430, 430? It's 432. That would put us up around the 200, actually, Right up there. That's where I think we can close the year. Very likely, in my mind. All right, so Sesson, I closed the books on that one, took my loss pre-market at 64 cents, 65 cents. It took a little bit of a quick loss. It wasn't a big loss, and it was a quick one. Those are the best kind. They fell apart when the FDA gave them a hard time with their hopes to start another phase 3 trial in their bladder cancer drug. So they just gave up on doing it, and that caused it to collapse. It's still looking good in Europe, and maybe they get a partner that they would then actually try again with the FDA. I don't know, but I don't feel like holding it forever, so I just got rid of it. The next one I have after the spiders, I think was it CGC,
the pot stock.
Yeah, pot took it pot took a bad hit this year for the last few years, and this one no exception. It really got knocked down. It was as low as like 216, I think. Yeah, 216. And it looks like we're trying to put in a little bit of a rally over the last 3 trading day sessions. Today's candle is pretty good. Took out the high of 259, I think. Yeah, I took that high out. Let me draw that in. Yep, it took out this high and we're right at resistance now. So I think there's an excellent chance CGC moves up to fill this gap at 340. I think the gap is right about up here. Let's see where it is precisely. The close was 350. So I think we could get another dollar, which would be a significant move.
That would be.
Yeah, I think CGC is just worth more than where it's at. It's more than a $1 billion market cap company, in my opinion. Maybe it wasn't a $20 billion one and whatever it was at its one-time heights, but it's worth more than $1 billion. So I see good things ahead for CGC. Tilray, let's just take a quick peek.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, this one was up 15%. It had been up even higher, like we saw. Tilray didn't make the same kind of move, but it was up 3%. Not bad. I mean, no, it's not 15%. It's heading in the right direction at least. And we're coming off also quite very low of the year at around 3. Very similar chart, very similar collapse. All the big pot stock, all the big pot growers have really gotten hammered. Of course, Tilray is more than a grower. They're into medicinal applications. They're into drinks, all kinds of pot goodies. So they're vertically integrated, but they're more than just a grower. But most of these companies are at this point. The chart is nothing to get excited about.
More mergers, and you'll see more of that.
Yeah, nothing to get excited about. The ugly candle today is it tried to go higher and gave it up from 364. We closed at 340. I wouldn't be in a hurry to buy this. If I were to buy it, I'd probably be looking to buy it down around here at 308, something like that. I think it'll come back down. This one is not showing the strength that CGC is showing on the chart. So I would prefer CGC for the time being, even though I own Tilray.
Yeah, well, that void.
Even though I own Tilray. Beam put in another new high, daily high, just similar to CRISPR, new high almost every day. And I think the chart's going to look similar to CRISPR today, I mean the candle, where it has a big reversal. It had been up significantly, closed up 0.39 or 0.68% after breaking 60.88. Andrew sold at 60.5. Good move, Andrew. I think he's looking to get back in. Probably, I like the middle of a big green candle. So what about here? 53.49 if it sells off. That would be a good spot. Take a look at CRISPR, its friend. Similar candle, even worse. Even worse. This one,
that is the definition of an engulfing candle.
Yeah. No, because it doesn't engulf. The tail is longer from yesterday. The bottom tail.
Oh, look at that! I didn't even see that. Okay.
Yeah, but it's scary. It's scary enough anyway.
Yeah.
It's a reversal candle. I mean, it was much higher. It was 85.86 as it put in a new high. Yesterday's close was 83.39. No, 83.39 was yesterday's close. So we opened well above that, and we kept going up until it just collapsed and turned it negative on the day, losing about 5%. But it had been on a tear. So the very fact that it made a new high is good. I think you get more out of CRISPR. I think there's more left for this one to run even further. We have a beautiful Zoom channel.
We really do.
Zoom on CRISPR. I just say buy it on the dips. So this is a
Like
dip.
like
This
tomorrow
is
morning, yeah.
Of course, my opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice, as are Professor Spike's opinions, and so those of our guests. So do your own due diligence and check with an advisor before acting. And please
I don't
subscribe
have
to the
opinions.
show
I have complaints.
because when we see more subscriptions, we get inspired. We want to do more. We want to give you better shows and better stocks and market.
Speaking of which, he wants to see Sava, so we might as well.
Sava, DMTK and Sava.
Oh, there is Sava. Yeah.
DMTK.
Stocks that's in the doldrums, but it's at least coming up a little bit.
Yeah, it's come up significantly from the lows of $4.18. Definitely. And it's really a nice trend line. This looks interesting. This is an interesting looking chart. Not bad at all. Nice chart.
Yeah, if it continues that trend, it's still got an upward movement.
Yeah. And let's just draw a horizontal line where I see the top end of what could be a trading range here, right about in here. So yeah, that would be like the top end would be around 7.25, which we're approaching. So there might be a little resistance up around 7.25, but I see more resistance up around 9.75. That would be the major resistance. So I think we can easily move up to 9.75 on Dermtech. And what else? Sava.
And then we can finish off your choices.
Yeah. Sava, CYTK and PRTA are the other two, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Sava. Sava had a nice bottom here. I think that's going to hold. I think we tested the lows and basically came off them. That was a nice candle that day. The low that we made recently on Thursday was 21.82. We're well above that at 23.57, even though today's candle basically was a reversal of yesterday's. No big deal. And, it's a nothing candle to get excited, nothing to get excited about what happened today. I think the action is between 21.75, let's say, and 31.87, right around there. So this looks like the trading range, new trading range since middle of May. So for the last 2 months, we're sitting in this trading range between as low as 21.25. And actually, aside from one particular day where we spiked, a high of 31.57. So that looks like the trading range, 21 to 31. We're at the lower end of the trading range. I don't think the 50 is significant at all. It doesn't seem to respect it going up or down. So the 50 is meaningless. It does respect the 100, I think, a little bit, maybe. But I think we're looking at this 31.87 as being a key level. I think it does look like an excellent chance we get back into the low 30s. So swing it and get out if it breaks 21.
Do we have any news on that, like with the controversy? Have we heard anything?
Oh, I haven't. I haven't been following its fundamentals. I don't think there's anything new on the news front. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure at all because I really haven't. I own shares, but I haven't been following it closely. The chart looks good for a swing, just from the chart alone. And
Tim wants to know what you think about Athersys
let's chart it.
because they want to know. I didn't see that there was something about a reverse split. I guess they have no other
Yeah,
choice.
they're going to do 100-to-1 reverse split. I have no idea what the ratio is, but if they do a reverse split, you might as well do something significant like 20-to-1.
Right.
I would, if I were them, I would not reverse split. I'd rather go into the pink sheets, the over-the-counter bulletin board, whatever.
Yeah, I know it's not good news. It's not savory to go, especially 100-to-1 or 1-to-100.
No, I wouldn't be 100-to-1. It would probably be 20-to-1. So
Okay.
20 cents would become $4, and then you'd quickly see it sell off to $2.
Right.
So if there's a reverse split with no news about a European partner, any kind of partner, then this will go to new lows.
You're right. If that's the case, they might as well stay in the pink sheets.
Yeah, you shouldn't. They should not do.
It's not as if they're going to be real players at that point until something good happens.
The upper limit in the trading range over the last few months is 40 cents, 42 cents. Trading range begins 520, the day that it collapsed from 75 cents, where the data was not good enough to meet the endpoints in Japan. But they had a panel of experts who said that the data is good enough to more than likely meet the endpoints on the Masters 2 trial that's ongoing in the US and Europe by Athersys. So who the hell knows?
Well,
I've been
if
with,
that's true, then it belongs in the NASDAQ. If it's not true, it belongs in the pink sheets.
yeah. I wouldn't, if I was a member of the board, I would not split it because you really need to do 20-to-1, and I wouldn't do it. I think it would kill the stock totally. Better off moving it to the over-the-counter bulletin board. What was the other one? PRTA, right?
PRTA, CYTK, and Bank of America.
PRTA is another biotech that's into neurodegenerative diseases. PRTA. Chart doesn't look so good. Well, it's right at resistance. So that's why I say it doesn't look so good. If it gets past this resistance area, it'll look real good. So it has to break out above, let's say, 31.54.
Yeah.
The reason I said at first glance I said it doesn't look so good is because if this is respected, we're going to probably come back down to test to the 50, which hopefully will prove to be support. So the 50 is at 27.18. We're very likely to do a 3-point drop to test this 50-day moving average. On the other hand, if it takes this resistance line out, then I think we could run up to the highs of this trading range, right up about here. Why is it not doing anything? Because I didn't hit draw. You got to hit draw. It doesn't understand.
Exactly. It won't draw if you don't press the button.
Yeah. Okay. So there we have it. Up around $40. It could be. There was a brokerage upgrade today on. Was it today on PRTA? Not sure. I'm not. I don't want to call this one because I'm not positive. I haven't been following the fundamentals very carefully at all, so I could be getting it confused with another company. but it's at the high end of its trading range. I don't know where they are in terms of their clinical trials. I know they're partnered up with some big pharma. CYTK is partnered up with Amgen on a heart failure drug, which is very close to completion of data readout or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
not. I don't
we
own
had to
this
turn off
one.
that news, didn't it?
I don't own this one. I don't own Prothena. I don't own CGC. So three of the five that I talked about today, I don't own, and I really haven't been following too much on the fundamentals. This one has found support at the 200 today. I like that, and it's very likely it could bounce off of that. So I could see a run right back to the high of this candle, which was 41.25, like a reversal. 3-point pop, 10% move. This does look like an interesting swing, and it's easy to just let's see on the downside of this swing. Well, really, you got to give it all the way to this low at 33.60. So it's a tough swing to get into because the downside is pretty great. 33.60 on the downside, and I like to at least get even money on my trades. So if it's a trade, I want to take profits at about the same interval. Where would that be? How about right here? Right about $45. It's arbitrary. So, I drew a line somewhere, but I don't know if I mean it. It's more likely to find a little trouble at the 50. But it could come all the way up to about the 40 to about $45. It's an interesting company. I think if you look at the trend on the stock, on the chart, it's clearly up all the way from 127 when it was $30. So from 127 till now, you have a nice trend.
You have an upward trend, certainly.
And that's significant.
High lows.
I like this trend line.
So a nice bounce tomorrow would be meaningful.
What's that?
A nice bounce back up tomorrow would be meaningful.
Yeah, and this one looks nice. It's definitely in a Zoom channel, right? Over a lot of months, from beginning of the year, really. It's been at the beginning of the year. It was at the upper end of this Zoom channel at the beginning of the year. It was as high as 39.50, higher than it is now. But we've gotten much higher in this Zoom channel. We're just at the bottom end of the Zoom channel, which might mean it's a really good time to buy. Or it might mean that the drug will fail like so many other drugs. So did we do all requests?
Yeah, the guys were talking a little bit about the EV market, Lucid, and and then the other cars getting into the market, Neo, and so everybody's a little bit afraid.
BM has got 95,000 cars waiting chips that they can't seem to get. There's still a supply issue with these companies.
Yeah. What about Churchill? You have anything to say before we go off?
All right. I was just going to.
Lucid. I'm sorry. It was called Churchill.
Same thing. Churchill, Lucid. What was the old symbol? CCI, was it?
It was. Well, now it's LCID.
Anyway, it's got a beautiful trend line, and it's definitely looking good. It looks attractive, although today is an ugly candle. 2108 closed at 1996.
Yeah, if that is a pennant, it's not a good pennant.
Yeah. On the other hand, yeah, it does look like a pennant. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well, you know, if we can take out this high at 2073, a close above 2073, I'd be more than satisfied. Put it that way. I would probably buy it with a close above 2073, looking for at least a challenge to $28. So there's a lot of bullishness left in my mind. I don't think today is the beginning of the end. CCIV was the old symbol.
Right.
Let's go Tesla. Only need to own one stock in your portfolio. You may be right. You got a lunatic at the helm, though.
Yeah, I was hoping Microsoft would be that one.
Yeah.
Something,
You got
something like something sane.
I mean, Elon is with the Tesla deal. He's really messing up. Not the Tesla deal, the Twitter deal.
But,
He's really messing up Tesla.
yep. But yeah, I
Neo,
mean,
they're talking. Andrew's talking Neo. Yeah, I don't love the Chinese companies. I'm off them. I just get killed every time I go into them.
but Ford and GM are languishing. I just wish they would show a little more strength.
Yeah, GM has been a disappointment. All right, so that's it for today. We did a good job. We went more than 30 minutes. We did a long show today. Normally I've been doing 15, 20 minutes, so I don't know why we spent so much time, but we did. Adios, amigos. See you all tomorrow. Happy trading. Thanks. Thank you, Professor Spike.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.